Live from the new studio, which is the old studio with different colored walls. My name is Sean Shapiro, and joining me in studio, Erin Urquhart. You may know her. We should probably put volume on your mic.
Happy FriYAY.
Yes, you may know Erin because Erin is TPS Bike Heart, parking enforcement officer extraordinaire, making the roads safer for all.
I try.
So if you're new to the show and you don't know who he is, well, now you do. And you might be watching on one of the many platforms we're on, because we're on TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Kick, and the platform formerly known as Twitter, now referred to as X. And wherever you are, you can ask us questions, except for X. You'll need to come over to YouTube or another platform. You can do that by going to youtube.trafficcop.ca or trafficcop.ca. Yeah. Where you can get links to all of the platforms. That's where I was going with this. That's what I meant to say. Anyway, let's put the other graphic back on. We've got Vision Zero Enforcement Team stuff to talk about very quickly, and then we'll get into the greetings and on to the questions, because that's really where it's at. It'll be interesting to see. Actually, can we see it? We'll see as soon as we see if the link on TikTok is actually working, because we have had hit or miss connectivity. Sometimes it works, and sometimes it don't. And I'm thinking I can do this. Give me 1 second. Nope. Come on. Everything's just...
There we go.
Yeah, just making it so you can actually move closer if you want to. Because as much as...
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, Erin is still shorter than I am.
We're standing. We're not sitting.
Yeah, we're trying something new. It's actually not so new. It's something I used to do. And then I was having some standing difficulty. Then I decided to sit for a while. Now I'm like, I'm really stiff sitting all the time. Maybe we should try standing a while. So there's the thing. You can get a real idea for how on Instagram.
Oh my God, I'm like at your shoulder, and yeah.
Different perspectives. The camera's up here for one, the camera's down there for another. We're all over the place. But let's do this Vision Zero Enforcement Team thing, because I want to let you know that today, being November 24th, the folks from Vision Zero are out making FriYAY safer. How are they doing that? They're issuing tickets for stuff and things, specifically for, well, actually stuff and things, but focused on the Big Four. The Big Four, where I have a button that says the Big Four right there. I'm going to press it. Speeding, aggressive driving, distracted driving, and impaired driving. And those offenses are known to lead to serious injury and death, and they will be focused today in one place, but tomorrow another place. Today's 32 Division and 55 Division. Those are the neighborhoods of Downsview, Willowdale, Newton Brook, Bathurst Manor, the Beaches, Riverdale, Danforth, East York. Those are neighborhoods where real people live, work, and play and deserve to be safe. So we thank them for doing what they do, because they do a real good job at it. Yeah, by giving them tickets, and it's the same thing for what you do. You give people a ticket with the hopes that they're not going to do the same thing again.
You would hope, but
alas, that's not how it works.
No, well, for some people.
Some people, I tell you. I'm going to try and move a little further back, so I'm not quite. Look, if I stand behind you, if I get a certain distance back, we'll be the same size. I'll get to the wall. Okay. Maybe I take away the graphics. Maybe we don't need graphics. Is that better?
I don't know. What do the people think?
Graphics or no graphics? I don't know. We'll turn it on. We'll turn it off. Let's see here. If anyone is watching on the TikTok, and I see a whole bunch of messages actually coming in, we'll see if it starts to link up. Otherwise, we'll just we'll be looking all over the place. So first off, in the room, we've got Michael, who says greetings. Stephen Bell, who says good morning, Sean and Erin. Tim Shallow, who says good morning, Sean and Erin. Happy Friday. Then Michael's got a question. And let's see here. Erin is Toronto's Supergirl for parking.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Is that his first for you, being called Supergirl?
Supergirl. I've never been called Supergirl.
Especially bicycle lanes, no blocked hydrants or accessible loading zones. All of TPS is super.
Oh,
thank you for being inclusive, including, truly inclusive, including all of TPS. Yes. And the truth is, you're not wrong. It's not wrong.
No.
We have magical people doing magical things every day to help and benefit the people of Toronto. Now, what is it, the bevy?
The beverage.
Oh, what's the beverage? Oh, I'm not down with the lingo.
It's just a cold brew coffee. I should be moving on. I should be switching to hot coffee now, but
it's a seasonal thing?
Yeah. I usually when it starts to get this cold, I switch to just normal hot coffee. I'm not a fancy Starbucks girl.
Any big plans for the weekend? Are you going to see Santa on Sunday?
I'm actually no, but it's actually my partner's birthday this weekend, so we're going to be celebrating that. I'm actually probably working tomorrow, so yeah, working plus celebrating birthdays. And actually, next weekend there is another Santa Claus parade, a smaller one that's in Etobicoke along the lake shore. And I will be working that Santa Claus parade. So next Saturday, not this weekend. What about you? Are you going to the Santa Claus parade
I
with your
am
children?
not.
Oh no. Okay.
I am not, and it's not for any particular reason other than being that I'm a weekday worker, like Monday to Friday person. I don't get more than the weekends off, so it means I have a lot of stuff to do all weekend.
I totally get it. Yep, same. So Sunday, I would like to relax, but it'll be like do all the house chores day as well.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta love that Monday to Friday life.
Inked Canadian sold a truck. 5 months later, it was impounded. The new owner never registered it, and I can either sign it over or pay for it back with no communication from previous owner. So this is the option that they're being given. So here's the deal, and this is a big deal. When you buy a new vehicle or if you sell a new vehicle, I suggest doing that at the Ministry of Transportation, like at the Service Ontario location. And the reason I say that is because then you can make sure that the transfer actually took place. What very often happens is people buy it and drive it around and either never insure it, but they don't transfer it. And when they don't transfer it, you are responsible for what happens next. If it's going to be impounded, that bill goes to you. So that's pretty gross that's what this person did to you. And I'm sorry that was your experience. Now, if you have been paid for and don't want you have nothing you're expecting, then signing it over to the pound probably sounds like a good idea, unless you want it back. And I imagine that the pound fees are not cheap, is my guess.
No, they're not. Well, I know they're not for cars that we tow.
I'm fixing the
I
camera.
think it's like
here.
by the hour or something.
It's daily rates in Toronto.
Daily rates, okay.
I'm trying to fix this, so it's not going to be pretty. I'm trying to make the Instagram. Don't watch
for
it.
all
Instagram.
all the 5 people that are watching on Instagram. Thanks for joining
people,
us.
joining us on this one little computer where you can sort of steer it.
We're getting side eye from Sergeant Campbell. He's like creeping in through the door. I think he's jealous that I'm in his hot seat today. I'm sorry,
you
Sarge.
stole his seat. Let's see here. Morning, are townhouse complex unnamed roads under the HTA or private? Do you mean it's unassumed?
Yeah.
It depends. It depends if it depends. So generally speaking, private property is what they are classified as, unassumed by the city, meaning that they pay for their own snow removal, garbage pickup. They're not roads, they're parking lots. And that would mean that they're private property for the purposes of enforcement. But what's the context of your question? That's what I want to know. To the Inked Canadian, hopefully that was helpful. Thanks for asking the question. And good morning, Sean Chen. And good morning, Stephen Bell, who says his wife and he are going to the open house at the police station here in London, Ontario, December 5th. Well, that's awesome. Open houses are always great. We like them.
I didn't know police stations do open houses.
Well, we do during Police Week we do. I don't know why they're doing it. Maybe they have some kind of fancy schmancy buffet or something. Buffets are always good. Let's see here. We got Lucas who says hello. Lucas Brantz wants to know if you can drink and drive on private property. I'll put that on screen so we can actually share it with the world. We're going a little slower. And actually, I haven't had a moderator for a week.
Yeah, is he
heard
off?
he had a boo-boo.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
He's feeling better.
I don't know. He's not here.
Yeah.
But the question of drinking and driving on private property is you cannot anywhere, private property or otherwise. You can't do it on private property. You can't do it on the road. Even if it's your lawn tractor, that's against the law, and you can be arrested and charged for impaired operation offenses. So there you go. Good day from Australia. Where in Australia? Because I was I've been all over Australia. I have family down under. And I spent a lot of time in Melbourne. But I did get a chance to travel Australia. If you have never been there,
no,
you got to go to Australia.
Would love to one day.
Michael wants to know if traffic services will open their doors for Police Week or doors open to you. I don't think that this is the right place. There's not much to see here other than maybe now that this now. By the way, are you finding it warm?
I might take my sweater off, but it is warmer. You know what? Just hold on a second.
It is
throw
warm.
It to the side because
I fully just thought I was going to wear a sweater, and I'm normally in winter months just wearing a sweater.
I
like
fluctuate.
Yeah.
I get hot, cold.
Well,
I just liked also having pockets because we're standing. I'm like, I don't know what to do with my.
you do a little hand dance. That's the way to do
Can
it.
put my hands on the table or the desk. There we go.
Thomas wanted to know, what is that? Okay. I think they were talking about your drink.
Oh, again, yeah, it's just coffee.
Thomas says, wait, is that Erin?
That's me.
It is. Evan wants to know, how is distracted driving works? Oh, by the way, in case you're wondering the topics that we're discussing, because we talk about different stuff and things every day, and it's a show that's entirely based on you. Whatever you ask is what we talk about. That said, the topics that we are specialists in happen to be police, traffic, parking. And have you done anything else with the service that you know that you can speak to? Are there questions outside of parking that you would address? I mean, bicycle safety, you're obviously an advocate for that.
Well, I used to work in security, but yeah, and I just know all the parking stuff. I'm the parking guru.
The parking guru, I like that. We have Jay Devoy who says, good morning, Erin, and of course, Sean. Well, good morning to you too. So in terms of will we open, I don't think we will be, but once again, the topics for today or whatever you want to talk about. I reposted, it was, that on this day.
Yes,
I love on this day.
Yeah,
it makes my life easy.
I was posting some of those too, but some of them didn't do so well, but that's okay.
It's all timing.
Yeah.
But I'm sure the one from today will once again upset people because it's about tint.
Oh, yes. I remember that was like such a hot, every single live, it would be like tint or underglow, tint, underglow. Like I feel like I know so much about tint and underglow now just from the live streams.
Well, it's repetitive. It's through osmosis. We've talked about, like, that's one that was a staple 17 times. And I think why we don't see it every day is because moderators, when they're here, are not repeating the questions.
Yes.
Whereas I would just read everything.
Yeah. And, like, it's kind of, it's not as fun for us if we're literally talking about the same topic over and over and over within an hour. So.
Well, sometimes that is the fun. Right?
Well,
it's like, again, tint,
yeah,
oh my God.
I guess, yeah.
Tint. we have tint.
I wish I could do that. I can't. I'm not even going to attempt.
You just got to take. I've seen the TikTok videos where they take a stool and drag it across the kitchen and it makes that sound.
Yeah,
it makes all the sense in the world now. Hayden Hannaford from Australia is currently living in Brisbane. Very cool. Mattel. I don't know where that is. I know where Brisbane is. So here's a question about what's the law with using a mobile phone while driving. Well. That's a good one. Did you know the fine off the top of your head? This is where we get to quiz each other.
Ooh, off the top of my head, $6.25?
$6.15, very close.
Ooh, close. $10 off.
I think it should be $6.25, and the rest should go to a donation to something.
$6.15, yeah.
$6.25, $6.15 to make me.
Sorry.
$6.15 comes with 3 demerit points and 3-day suspension on conviction, and that is for using it. It's the use, and that could be holding it. Typing on it, holding it to your head. My favorite one, of course, is I'm on speakerphone. I'm not using it. Any kind of use, and that's the deal. Just people say, well, what about GPS? Well, you can have it in GPS mode if it's mounted, but you can't touch it, can't change the destination, that kind of thing. And with today's technology, you can just talk to it, right? Do you use your voice? Like, Siri does everything for me.
Well, usually, that, and also just like I'm connected to the Bluetooth, so I can, voice commands, like just press a button on my steering wheel, call this person or whatever.
Which, by the way, is legal. You can
is it?
You can
it's
use
legal.
It is permitted to use your steering wheel control or your CarPlay if you have CarPlay.
Yes.
Where you can touch and type on the screen. That's not distracted driving. Which is weird, right? A lot of people have a disconnect. They go, how can it be that I can touch the steering wheel or I can touch and type the number in at a red light, but I can't touch the phone? And them's the brakes. That's the law. Could it be careless driving? Yeah, if you're sitting there typing or using your screen and we're observing you do that when you should be driving on the green light, you're still going to get a careless driving or a fail to proceed a green charge, but it wouldn't qualify as distracted driving, specifically the cell phone charge.
Oh.
Yeah.
Good to know. Good info.
If it's mounted, you can use a headset or you can use your speakerphone. Mounted in a mount, that's how mounted works, and you can press swipe or whatever to answer and hang up. That's it.
I think one of the worst ones I've seen is like someone had their phone like in the middle of their steering wheel as they were steering and like texting at the same time. Crazy.
Well, I've seen some mounts on the steering wheel.
Oh no! Like they were holding it with like their two hands and like steering at the same time.
I have to admit that while I have a picture of a guy because I was going to. So I put my police hat on while I was driving, and I took my police issued telephone and took a photograph of a driver who had an iPad on his steering wheel.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah.
What, like watching a movie or something? Who knows? Who
All
knows?
I know is it wasn't legal.
No.
But for those who say, well, what do you mean you're using your phone while driving? I was stopped, and I'm a police officer who's actually exempt from that. It was for the purposes of being a police officer that I was doing it. So yeah, I was permitted, but I acknowledged the danger while I did it. Let's see here. I think I covered everything for that thing, for that question.
It's a lot.
So
Yeah.
truly, if we unpack all of these things, they're all a lot.
Yeah.
Just a follow-up question about the private property. Jake here wants to know, can police issue tickets on private property? So it really depends on what we're talking about. On condominium complexes, private property, like we can't enforce speeding, we can't enforce red lights or stop signs, we can't enforce having a driver's license, things like that. However, if they were stunt driving, if they managed to do burnouts there, that's absolutely enforceable. If they were to do be impaired driving or do burnouts, that kind of stuff, that's absolutely enforceable. There's a bunch of stuff that does apply on private property. Stephen Bell feels really bad.
I saw that. Don't feel
bad. And I'm sure something will come to you.
Yeah.
We talked about the distracted driving already. That Evan it was a duplicate question that somebody else asked. Brecken 4 wants to know if there's a way to drive without a driver's license. Well, people do it all the time. Unfortunately, it's not a legal way to do it. So don't do that. But on private property, it's not required to have a license. Not a good idea because your insurance company won't be happy with you. In fact, you don't need insurance, but you must have gotten to that parking lot somehow, and that would be the what's it called? Fly in the ointment. If we wait for you to leave, you're eventually going to drive on the road, and we can charge you then. Let's see here. Here's a parking question from Evandro, who happens to be our Brazilian fan, who takes content and translates it into both Spanish and Portuguese and puts it onto his channel.
Wow.
So if you want to do some parking content in in another language, he's the guy to make it happen.
Wow, cool. Okay. Is there any extra time for parking? For example, 5 minutes after parking time ends, or is time up? So this is a good question. So in Toronto, I can't speak for other municipalities, but we give. This is just our policy. It's not written into the bylaw or anything. But if you pay for parking at a meter on the street, you get 10 minutes on top of what the time you've paid for, grace period, to either come back to your vehicle or re-up your parking. And for rush hour periods only, 5-minute grace period. So say rush hour begins at 3:30. I cannot ticket or tow your vehicle until 3:35. So it's 5-10-minute grace periods in those circumstances. But everything else, it's pretty much if you're in a 1-hour parking zone and you're over an hour by a minute, I can give you a ticket for that. So, yes.
Victoria wants to know, Sean, how tall are you? Well, how tall are you?
I'm trying to think. 175 centimeters, according to my driver's license, but I believe it's like around 5'8".
I'm 6'5". That
6'5".
6'5", and then I'm wearing heels.
Yeah.
No, I'm wearing sneakers. Sneakers got an inch.
I don't wear heels because I'm already too
But you're wearing sneakers too.
There's a little platform on these.
Fine. I think we're on par with that.
Yeah.
But I've been seeing inundated, and I don't understand this. Why is TikTok sending me ads in my stream for people with socks that have lifts in them?
Oh, geez.
I don't need to go any taller. It's tough enough to find a vehicle I fit in now.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
We got it was a follow-up question from Evandro that I saw. Here it is.
That was
and I've got to go to Hayden's response to cell phone. Holy moly.
That's
okay.
cheap compared to something
Yeah, we'll get back to that in a second. So is there any Oh no, wait, that's the question you already asked. Okay.
That's the one. That's the
go.
follow-up.
There was actually another one. Do you need to warn or talk to the driver, or you just apply the fine and not need to talk to them? So this is, you come out of the building, you have to give them any opportunity once they've hit their time.
Depending on the if there's someone coming back to their vehicle after their time's already up, I usually let them go. I'm not going to slap the ticket on because they're there within the 10 minutes. Sometimes they come out when it's already printed and done, and that's a different circumstance. But Generally, I like to talk to the driver if they're there. I don't like that practice of not talking to them. It's a two-way street. Like if I'm ticketing a vehicle and someone comes back to their vehicle and they see me ticketing their vehicle and they just jump in and, drive off, I'm like, well, that's a little not nice. That you could have just acknowledged and been like, hey, I'm leaving. And anyways, yeah. I like to talk to people, but in some circumstances, we don't have to. I'll leave it at that.
Well, and that's where you get that ability to be you. You get to have your personality.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Can have a, decent conversation or civil conversation with someone. Even if you are giving them a fine, it doesn't always have to be a fight.
Michael says the platform shoes are co-host with Sean. It makes sense now. Now I know why they're sending me the ads. It's to buy them for people who are going to co-host with me. Let's see here. We got, is there a grace period for vehicles marked on as delivery for parking?
Well, I've done multiple videos on this. There's a grace period in some parking areas, but not everywhere. You can't just, stop your car wherever, put a delivery sign on with your hazard lights and walk away. You have to know where you can and can't stop to make those deliveries. So in side street, no parking areas, it's like the same thing. You get a 10-minute grace period as long as you have indicated that you are on delivery. But in, like no stopping zones, bike lanes, no standing areas, a bunch of other bylaws, there's no exemption for delivery. So it's just be very mindful of that. And I actually have an entire playlist on my TikTok page in regards to delivery exemptions. So you can go check out my, where am I pointing? I'm looking at this screen and I see, yeah. So if you go to my handle there on all platforms, and I'm looking at the other one now. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm just going to put my hands down.
We have a lot going on here. There's a lot of screens happening. Cameras everywhere.
Yeah, I have 3 screens I'm looking at here. But just go to my page, go check out that playlist, and you will find all the answers there about delivery exemptions in Toronto.
Awesome. I'm just taking a question over here because it appears that TikTok is not working.
I was going to say, I don't see any TikTok comments coming through.
It's not working, which, last time we got to 11 o'clock before it started working. It just started working at 11 o'clock.
Well, it was working and then it wasn't.
Well,
at the start.
I've had it both ways.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Tyson has a question about Underglow, I'm guessing. We'll come back here. I see the Bicycle Mayor of Toronto has made it into the chat. They said first-time viewer, so that's awesome. I've flagged 11 questions, so let's go back in time. And the follow-up to the distracted driving was, this is an Australian response. Oh, wow, that is a cheap fine compared to Australia. Here it's around $1,200 to $1,500 and 4 demerit points. Well, we do have it's 3 demerit points the first time and a 3-day suspension. And then if you do it again, I think it's 7 points and 7-day suspension. But you're right. The ticket, $615, is cheap on its face, but there is the ability for the courts to escalate. I think it's $1,000 max. And I'm assuming the Australian dollar is more than the Canadian dollar, so that's even more expensive. Zombie, good morning to you. You weren't here yesterday, but I played your intro. I guess we'll have to take a break and I'll play it again, just because. Because we have the technology. We'll do that. It's 10:30. We'll break at 10.
Oh my gosh, it's already 10:30.
Time flies.
I was just gonna say that.
Let's see here. Is that a sign of motorcycles on? Yeah. What's happening is they put a black wall or a dark gray wall, and what they didn't change was the plastic covers to the outlets that are bright white, and it's very distracting. So I put my Harley Davidson motorcycle hangy thing that I'm not hanging, but I put there anyway. But yes, it is motorcycles. This is a Vizio who wants to know, if a school bus is stopped with flashing lights, can I make a turn behind the vehicle? So you cannot pass the vehicle, and if you're within 20 meters, I believe, of the vehicle, you can't move. But if you're well behind, there's nothing preventing you from turning. There you go. Is there any time when canceling the fine, which you can cancel the fine for some reason? So canceling fines is really done in court. That's up to the court to determine whether or not they are going to proceed to prosecute, I guess, is the way to say it. But I've had a situation where after issuing a ticket, I went back and I either through rereading something or they called me, whatever happened, I decided it was not appropriate to process that ticket. And I have actually submitted paperwork to withdraw a ticket. I've done that once or twice, that's all. Because more often than not, I'm absolutely 100% behind the ticket. But there was something, I don't remember what it was. I think they were driving a Subaru, the one time that comes to mind. but I don't remember the details as to why it was actually withdrawn. So could it be done? Yes. Is it a regular occurrence? No. Let's see here. Michael, years ago, got into an argument with the manufacturer of a mount for tablets on steering wheel covering the airbag. Illegal in a number of places. Seems dumb not to put, or to put something over airbags. Yeah, putting a metal and glass combination of things strapped to the airbag that deploys at 200 plus miles per hour seems like a really bad idea to me too. Yeah, and yeah. But you know what? People got to make a buck and sell it online. Can Uber vehicle follow taxi signs?
I feel like this is for me.
It's for both. Because there's driving stuff that applies to taxis.
Oh,
and
that's right.
So you take the parking lead.
That's a good question. So no, you can't park in a taxi stand, a marked taxi stand as an Uber driver. Taxis are marked taxi vehicles. They pay for a taxi license. So no. But driving is a different story. I don't know.
So for driving, there's a bunch of things that are applicable to taxis. One of them is an exemption for child seats. In a taxi, a child can be transported without the appropriate child seat, as with a bus, which is arguably not a good thing and a good thing at the same time. Like, you wouldn't want a mother with small child or a father with small child or a parent person. I don't even know how to refer to anybody anymore. A person with a smaller person who requires a child seat. If they were stranded and the only transportation available to them was a taxi or a bus, and then not letting them do it because they didn't have a seat, that would be counterproductive. Now, Uber is a rideshare program, and it's not the same thing. They don't have the same exemptions in that example. Also, a taxi doesn't have to wear a seatbelt, taxi driver, if they have a passenger on board, which is, again, good and bad, because you kind of want the protection of a seatbelt. It's like the best way to keep you inside of a motor vehicle on a collision, but there are exemptions for taxi drivers that don't apply to Uber. So that's that. Matthew Preston was hired on as a bylaw in my community. How can I best prepare myself for the duties of the job? This is a really you job question.
Yes. So doing, we are bylaw, but we are strictly just parking bylaw. So what I'm assuming you're doing is, bylaws and doing a vast majority of enforcement and all these different bylaws. So in terms of dealing with the public, and if you're going to get into, altercations, just learning how to talk to people, have de-escalation skills, learning to stay calm and professional, even if someone is upset with you. It can take a toll on you, but you just always have to remember to keep your professionalism and just really focus on, verbal judo, I should say, or just being, like I said, tactical communication and de-escalation skills. And we actually, as parking officers, just this year, we're going to start doing an annual de-escalation and self-defense refresher course, which I've already been on. It's been really great. We go through scenario-based situations with the people at the Toronto Police College. So hopefully your training has something involved with that, and best of luck to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. I mean, I've never been a parking enforcement officer, although I did apply to be a parking enforcement officer because I was a court officer who wanted to see what trees and the sky looked like. And I mean that with all the love, because I was stuck indoors a lot as a court officer, and I thought that would be a good. Anyway, I didn't get in. I stayed a court officer until I became a police officer. Let's see here. Can you issue? Oh, Erin, can you issue fines for phone use?
I cannot. Those are what police officers do.
Would you
the
ability to?
Oh my goodness. Well, I
turn
see it all the time on my bicycle. And, like one time in the summer, I'll never forget, there was someone in a convertible and I was right behind them on my bicycle. And I could see that, they were fully on their phone. And I just rang my bike horn. I'm like, hey, get off your phone. And some people mistake me as a police officer. So that was enough to freak them out, to be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Put their phone down. But
that's no
if
different.
I could, I would, but I can't.
Truly, that's no different than if you were a concerned citizen who cared about their city and just was sharing your displeasure.
Exactly.
I need to make that stop.
Oh, that is
incredibly bad.
Loud.
I need to make that stop. But I don't see. Oh, here. Decline. I do not want to talk to somebody right now.
Do they not know the time?
I've actually programmed my phone. When the iPhone comes up and you can see, I can't answer the phone. My response is, I'm live streaming. Come tune in on YouTube. That's my pre-programmed answer. Leo the Dreamer. Let me read that again. Why can a dash cam footage not be used? Okay, it's the positive, negative against stunt driving. It can in some cases. And I say that because the deal is simple. I need, as a police officer, certain pieces of information in order to lay a charge. I need to know the date, time, and location of an offense. I need to know who is actually operating the vehicle, and I need to know what vehicle is. So if I can actually cover all those things in the video, I can certainly issue charges based on that. You may need to come in and testify as a witness to establish where that video came from, but it's possible. Now, very often what happens, and we have people on YouTube and TikTok who produce their own video. Their friend films them doing stupid things behind the wheel and then post said stupid things to the internet. And then we download said stupid things and then build a case and then charge them. And we've had arrests based on it. We've had stunt driving charges based on it. So it does happen, but it has to be able to cover the elements. At very least, like, I'm not trying to tell you not to submit these things because it might be one piece of information that isn't sufficient to lay charges, but is then used as part of a larger investigation. Because oddly enough, if people do stupid things and post them to the internet, they probably do it more than once. Just saying. It's amazing how people don't think the police are in the internet, and yeah.
Yeah, it's wild what people post out there themselves.
It is shocking. Shocking. Yeah, anyway, that's what the Prince said when we were working a detail, and Prince Harry comes walking by, and possibly somebody from the OPP said, "Hey, take a picture of me." May have leaned out in front of Prince Harry, and maybe I took a picture of him, and to which the Prince said, "Shocking." So I'll never have that word not make that memory. So, Bicycle Mayor of Toronto, first-time viewer, welcome. I've seen Erin on the streets and appreciate her work. For people on bikes who have their photos or video of delivery vehicles blocking, for people on bikes who have photos or video of delivery vehicles blocking lanes, can those be used to issue tickets? Erin.
No, unfortunately not. And I get tagged in hundreds of pictures on X. I always want to keep calling it Twitter. It's always going to be Twitter to me.
I think we should just call it Twitter.
Yeah, I'm just going to keep calling it Twitter. But anyways, unfortunately, no. Like, if I see those photos, like, I at least know that there is an issue in that area, which I know a lot of bike lanes that don't have protection are an issue for cars blocking the bike lane. But unfortunately, I can't use those photos to, mail a ticket to the driver. That's why we are sworn officers. I have to be there. I have to witness it. I have to take pictures. I have to, make notes for evidence for me to issue a ticket. So unfortunately, a photo by someone of the public just doesn't cut it.
There are different requirements for different types of laws, and same thing for criminals. Some things we can lay charges and make arrests based on reasonable probable grounds. Other charges require us to have them found committing. And in the parking situation, you really got to have your vehicle in the situation, not after the fact. Too many questions.
Yeah.
Not to us, of course. Can you this is from Tyson Sampaio? Does that sound right? Sampao?
Sampao?
Maybe it's Tyson Sampao. Let you know, Tyson, how do you pronounce your last name? I need phonetics. Can you drive with lights displayed underneath your car? I'm assuming you mean underglow, which is a popular question these days, and it has been for a while, actually. Underglow is not specifically legal or illegal, but its use may violate other laws. So if you have lights or bulbs visible and you're projecting lights that are in prohibited colors, like you can't have red to the front, that's obviously a violation. In fact, if you're projecting anything to the front, you might be finding yourself in trouble, and to the rear as well, because to the rear you can't project white or blue, or like you need to only have amber or red. So it really depends. Here's another Australian perspective question, and I can't wait to find out what the follow-up is. What happens with cars that are illegally modified? So depending on what the modification is, its modification may cause it to get a ticket for improper muffler, too much noise, that sort of thing. Something that's unsafe, well, we remove the license plates. They're seized and returned to the Ministry of Transportation, and that vehicle cannot be used on the road anymore until it's recertified. So that's the story there. But we don't crush cars. They have hoon laws. They call it hoon laws. Even for our stunt drivers, which are quite serious. Our stunt driving charges come with an immediate 30-day suspension, a 14-day vehicle impound, a further 1 to 3 years on first conviction for vehicle prohibition or driver prohibition, $2,000 to $10,000 fine, up to 6 months in jail. On first conviction. On second conviction, it goes from 1 to 3 to 3 to 10, and on a third conviction, it's lifetime ban for driving. But we never crush your car, and they tried to crush cars way back when. Which I think I really think we should crush cars for people who are driving dangerously, stunt driving, things of that nature, because it seems to hurt people the most. Like if you had your Lambo crushed, that's a $300,000 pill to swallow.
Oh my gosh.
Just saying.
A lot.
So yeah, we don't have that, but I would vote for it. Not many people would agree with me, at least not the stunt drivers. We got a hello from DebMom710 from Muskoka, Ontario, Canada. Muskoka's a lovely place, except for black fly season.
Oh gosh. Yeah. Anywhere cottage season, bug season. No thanks.
I want to get into more stuff because Zombie's here. I want to play Zombie's intro, and we can do the live reaction version because you're here to watch it. Let's see here. So hopefully this won't be too loud. Let's play it. Maybe it is too loud.
I really enjoyed that.
It's fantastic.
That was like intense, like the music.
Yeah, no, it's very well done.
The editing, great job.
I'm hoping it wasn't something you pressed one button and did it. It looked like it was such.
Yeah.
I want to give you all the credit. In fact, even if it is one button to make that, I give you all the credit. That was awesome.
Yeah.
And now this is the second time I played it, but it took me like 25 times to get it played the first time.
Oh yeah.
Because I kept getting, hey, you didn't use it. Hey, you didn't use it. And then she ghosted me when I actually used it. Okay. JJ says, love when you bring your colleagues. I do too. It's always nice to have somebody in the office, because it's different. There's a whole dynamic of dialogue.
Yeah, you're not just talking to the screen. You can, talk banter.
It's lonely. I am so lonely.
But you do it well by yourself too.
Hey, I try. I also have very few options because when I'm by myself, I am by myself.
Yeah.
Let's see here. OC has a question. I close from work at night. Too many eye-blinding high headlights beam. I am considering slightly tinting my windshield to drive safely. Why aren't people getting arrested for those headlights? Well, don't do what you were going to do because tinting your windshield is not legal. Yeah, don't do that. That would make your vehicle unsafe for the road. We'd pull your license plates and you'd have to get recertified, or you'd have to remove it at the roadside, depending up to the officer who was willing to let you do that. So the deal is this. Sometimes those high beams are actually low-powered high beams because people are asleep at the wheel and not turning on their headlighting system. And that's what you are driving around with your daytime running lights. They're actually high beams on low power. That doesn't include the high-intensity LEDs that are being used. That's different. LED and some very powerful halogens are either too bright because they bought them illegally, imported them, they're not to standard, or they're to standard but not directed properly, pointing in the wrong direction. Those are a problem. Those are eligible for tickets and proper headlights, $110, and but if you're really having problems with your vision, sunglasses before tinting your windshield. Don't tint the windshield. Thoughts on the removal of photo radar on the King Road in Calgary? Well, considering I don't think I've ever driven on the King Road in Calgary, although I have family in the area, I've never actually been there to visit them. So, I don't have any opinion on it. However, I would love to see photo radar everywhere. I'm the guy who says drive the speed limit and means it because I drive the speed limit because I don't want to be a hypocrite. So, I drive the speed limit. I believe in the concept of driving at the appropriate speed. I think that we can't be everywhere all the time. Thus, I like the idea of photo radar. And I've yet to actually be like, oopsie dude. I went through one area that had recently had a change of speed, and I was like, oh my God. Because
did it have a photo radar?
I saw a photo radar, and I saw a speed camera, or a speed camera, and I saw a speed camera, and I saw a sign after the speed camera of the speed limit. Well, it had changed since the last time I'd driven there. So I had a minor panic attack, and thankfully, doing the previous speed limit did not trigger the camera. Yes. Okay, we have a question here. I got a bunch that are in here that I flagged, some that I've yet to flag. Let's go to the one that I flagged. Is it illegal to relocate the plate number to the side of the bumper? Side is a funny word. If you mean off-center, then it is not illegal. Your license plate can be on either side of the front bumper. It could be in the middle, it could be on the grill, it has to be at the front, in the front of the vehicle, which is actually the front, and then it has to be in a conspicuous place. And certain vehicles came stock with, off to the right or off to the left license plate
I've
mounts.
seen them.
In the back, too. They're all over the place on, what's it called, Land Rover, Range Rover. They're in some strange places.
Oh, yeah.
Here's a question. What happens when you get charged with stunt driving and distracted driving at the same time? Well, then you're a special piece of work, aren't you?
A lot of tickets.
You get both tickets. You get, the suspension for distracted driving is on conviction. The suspension for stunt driving is immediate. So the immediate stuff happens immediately. The stuff that doesn't, yeah. Oh, here's an interesting one. Steve D. Nielsen says, let's crush cars, but let's also give cops the death penalty for lying. Well, if you go by that, why don't we give everybody the death penalty for lying? I mean, what's good for one is good for the other, right? Police, I don't know what you're getting at or what you're suggesting, but you obviously have some very strong opinions, and I don't know what's brought you to them. But what can I tell you? I'm sorry that you had an experience that has tainted your view on policing. Police and everybody, I think, tell the truth and lie on occasion. Do they lie in evidence? I don't believe so, because I'm not giving up my job and my, my reputation to give you a parking ticket, a speeding ticket, or a stunt driving ticket. That's all stuff that I'm recording with my camera, and that's the witness. No questions there. Are police officers, while undercover, allowed to lie? Yeah. You know, that whole concept. I love the people who say, when they're buying drugs, they go, "Are you a cop?" Because you have to tell me if you're a cop, or otherwise it doesn't handle in court. No, police are actually allowed to lie. They're permitted to lie in that situation. And if you mean other types of lies, I mean, what? Not they pass wind and not take credit. No, it was somebody else. I don't know what kind of lying you're talking about. Yes. Let's see here. We got the Australian perspective. Our laws aren't too bad, just can't go overboard with modifications. For example, like a 4 to 5 inch lift on a 4x4 will get the car instant defect. So we're allowed 3 inches, I think, for a lift. But yes, a ridiculous lift would get it marked unsafe. Let's see, Michael wants to know, who makes the laws like stunt under HTA or dangerous under criminal code? If I had the job, I would introduce the court being able to auction legal vehicles or any vehicles upon conviction. I like it. It's your lawmakers. It's government, right? It's not me, because I'm with you. I would bring in all sorts of laws that no one would appreciate. Let's see here. Hayden's follow up on the hoon laws. Hoon laws are pretty serious. Government will crush cars that are used for hooning. Plus, the driver is likely to get jail time. Well, you know what? It's great that you guys take it seriously.
Sorry, maybe I've missed this, but what does hooning mean?
Hooning, stunting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hooning, I like that word.
Aussies have got great lingo. For instance, they don't chew gum, or they don't eat gum or chew gum. They have chewy. A sweater isn't a sweater; it's a jumper. A sport utility vehicle is a sport ute. They don't go to university; they go to uni.
Is money dollary dues?
I don't know. I've never heard that before.
That's from The Simpsons. I think I'm going to just try and drop a Simpsons reference every time I'm on your live.
I like it. I like it. I got to watch The Simpsons. Mind you,
Yeah.
I just gave up my Disney subscription, so I'm not watching. I'm not watching
that
anything
sucks.
there. Let's see here. Michael says, I'd like to live in a neighborhood with speed cameras, stop sign cameras, and red light cameras. That is definitely a lot of cameras. And what would it mean? Hopefully, people would start behaving. I used to live at a T intersection, and I would watch people blow the stop sign past someone who was stopping for the stop sign. So they would actually they would go through the intersection at speed in oncoming traffic while someone was stopping.
Oh, yeah.
It was ridiculous. I hated living near a stop sign. Hated it. Because the traffic cop on me, I wanted to mount a camera. That's all I wanted to do. Oh, this is one of my favorite questions of all time.
Oh.
What happens if someone gets caught driving with their G1?
Like doing things they're not supposed to,
Well, I'm assuming being
driving by
alone.
themselves. Yeah.
I'm going to assume that's the one. The deal is that if you are caught driving alone, you are going to get a $110 ticket for G1 drive unaccompanied. But wait, there's more. The person who let you drive unaccompanied can get a ticket under the HTA. If you took the vehicle without consent, then they wouldn't get a ticket for permitting you to drive in contravention of your condition. Instead, you'd be charged criminally for take vehicle without consent. If you are involved in a collision, you're not covered under insurance. At least the vehicle won't be repaired. because they let you drive a car. They won't insure a non-licensed driver. And finally, you're going to get a 30-day suspension on conviction for the first time, 90 on the second, and third time you get kicked out of the program. I think I've covered everything, and I think that's a good thing. I don't understand why people think it's such an important. They're so important, and they need to get somewhere so bad that they should break the law. Don't get it. So Steve follows up and says, "We don't take an oath, nor do we have the power to destroy lives." Yeah, I don't know where to go with you. We sort of all have an oath or an obligation to be good to one another, whether you choose to abide by it or not. If you don't abide by it, you're breaking the law. In terms of power to destroy lives, people have the ability to arrest people. I'm assuming that's what you mean. But again, you sound like you've got very, very specific feelings on this, and you're entitled to them, even if you're wrong. Radek says, "Good morning." Good morning, Radek. How you doing? Radek is in the Humber College program with law enforcement, or I guess I don't know which degree specifically you're studying for, but we met there. This question is for parking enforcement. Hey, it's an Erin question. Are you assigned the same bicycle, or do you use different bicycles for different shifts?
So generally, we are assigned the same bicycles. There's a list of all the assigned bikes. We do keep spare bikes because, bikes break sometimes. But I've had the same bicycle since I've been on the bike, essentially, for the last 5, 6, 7. How many years have I been on the bike? Going on 8 years. Oh my gosh.
Well, you
8
set the
years.
bike up to be comfortable for you.
Yes, and we have different size frames because everyone has different size bodies. So I ride a bigger framed bike because I'm taller, and it's more comfortable. It's uncomfortable when you get a smaller bike. Your knees are hitting the handlebars. Not fun.
Not at all.
No.
I am big, thus I need big bike. And even my Harley Davidson, when I was in the motor squad, was customized for me. It was my bike. Nobody else rode it, and nobody else would want to because it would be weird. Like my handlebars were all the way up. My seat was maxed up with a 2-inch lift. Like it was set up for competition and what was comfortable for me. Let's see here. Oh, we got okay. I mentioned it earlier, but I'll mention it again. Comment about volunteering for the auxiliary police. Great program, by the way. I was 12 years with the auxiliary police while simultaneously working as a court officer. It is possibly the best volunteer opportunity on the planet. Just had to say it like that because that's how I said it. Let me go and bring up employment for a second because we have the technology. And here we go. Boom. Careers. So you've got police constable, which of course we are hiring for. If you're a police officer somewhere else and you want to come to the big smoke, this is where you go. Special constable, which is the new title, which used to be called court officer, but now has 3 different. There's booking officer, special constable, booking officer, special constable, court officer, special constable, generalist, or divisional. I guess they're all generalists now. Anyway, there's 3 different job priorities. Maybe that's not the right title. Anyway, they can do different stuff. It's not just courts now. Parking enforcement officer, communications operator, and then we have, let's see here, volunteering. That's the auxiliary chap I'm looking for. This is where they're taking applications now to volunteer in your community and truly have an amazing opportunity to experience. You're yawning.
I know. I'm sorry.
And someone here doesn't want to be an auxiliary officer.
That's why I tried to turn my head.
I know. Nobody knew what you were talking about until I outed you. Really great way. The courses or the classes next year. And let's see, we've got 4 positions here: benefit administrator, talent acquisition advisor, auxiliary volunteer, senior systems analyst, and comms operator. Great opportunities for those who want to either not be a uniform member or are looking for something to do on the side, being a auxiliary volunteer. For anyone who's interested, I would suggest strongly visiting the website. Why do I say that? Because these things don't stay on forever. So if you would like information on any one of the jobs, go to www.tps.ca/careers and get information. And if you're going to apply, make sure you apply before the deadlines, because once they're gone, and you don't know when they're back. At least I don't know when they're back, so how would you know when they're back? Okay. There were some good questions here. Let me scroll back because there were some good ones. I want to go to them. By the way, once we hit 11 o'clock, which is in 4 minutes, no new questions. I do have a bunch that are in the queue, and I'll try and get to them, but I don't think we can be here for that much longer past 11. Do cops use decibel meters for exhausts? No, it's not required. Some provinces do. We do not. The only time they're used in Toronto is by bylaw officers who are using them for motorcycle exhausts because there's a $500 bylaw. If your motorcycle idles at more than 92 decibels, it's a $500 ticket. That said, for unnecessary noise, could be your stereo, could be your horn, could be your exhaust, and it has nothing to do with decibels. It's all about the observations the officer makes and shares with the courts, or if it goes to court. Okay, more stuff. Kyle Hawking, how you doing? Happy Friday. Erin, is there a speed limit for e-bikes, or is it the same for bicycles as it is for cars?
That's more of a you question, to be honest.
Well,
But I think I know the answer.
Let's hear. Let's find out if you ride.
For e-bikes, isn't it? I believe they can't be more than 30 kilometers.
So you're not
They
far off.
can't go more than 30. If they go more than 30 kilometers, it's considered a motor vehicle.
You're on it. 32 kilometers an hour.
32 kilometers?
32.
Okay.
So here's the deal. The dealio. Is that what it is? Yeah, anyway.
The dealio.
The dealio?
Yes.
Okay. So e-bikes are motor vehicles that through the magic of legislation, see that magic? Magical legislation, they become bicycles if they conform to a certain number of things. That is, they cannot be capable of exceeding 32 kilometers an hour on a flat surface, cannot have a motor that is more than 500 watts, cannot be more than 120 kilos in weight, except for a pilot project for the cargo versions. They cannot have, or they must have working pedals. They have some other conditions as to who, but that's the deal. Now, bicycles and e-bikes that conform are bicycles under the law, so there is no speeding offense unless you are in a public park, because public parks and bicycle paths have a 20-kilometer-an-hour rule for anybody, anything, doesn't matter, skateboard, rollerblades, anyone traveling more than 20 kilometers an hour is eligible for a fine. But on the road, which is what we're usually talking about, e-bikes don't have a speed limit as long as they are bicycles. So if you were able to pedal your e-bike in conjunction with your 32 kilometer an hour, could you possibly be going faster? Good luck, because most e-bikes don't do that. Most e-bikes have pedals for looks. But it's based on it being 32 kilometers an hour on power. What else can I tell you? If it's capable of going more than 32 kilometers an hour on power, it is a motor vehicle again, and would be subject to all speed limits. So if you were in a 30 zone doing 35 on an e-bike, it's a motor vehicle and eligible for the charge. It's a motor vehicle again.
Yeah.
Magic. But I love the question. Thanks for popping in, Kyle. Maria Var wants to know, can an 8-year-old sit in the front seat of a work truck that has no back seats? Well, the answer is, I need a drum roll. Where's my drum roll? Not a drum roll.
That is not a drum roll.
That's not.
What even? It was.
No. Not the right drum roll.
Okay.
That was
It's like a joke.
That's
but
a joke one.
Yeah.
So the deal is that, yes, they can legally. However, we say backseat is best because backseat is best for their safety. Now, 8 years old is legal not to be in a booster seat, but we suggest that depending on their size and weight, they may be beneficial for them to be in a booster seat, regardless of seating position. The reason that you want an 8-year-old in the back seat is because airbags go boom, 200 kilometers an hour or miles per hour, which is a lot more in kilometers. It could be fatal. So seat in the work truck all the way to the farthest position away. And if you can disable the airbag, you should. But it's not illegal. Douglas Allen says, I triggered photo radar in 33 in a 30, which gave me an oh no moment. Luckily, I never received a ticket. They do get reviewed by persons who confirm if an offense has been taking place and if all the things. They don't want false stuff happening. Fake, incorrect.
Is that a follow-up question for that quickly? Is that in the same like for red light cameras as well?
Everything's reviewed. Because
I saw TikTok recently. I wonder if you saw the same one. It was like I got a red light camera ticket for the car beside me that went through it. It was like a pickup truck. And it showed the two pictures, and like I guess their car was the one. Like it was stopped at the stoplight, and then the truck was going through.
Well, you don't have to clear the intersection to run it.
Oh, really?
As soon as you cross the stop line, you're in the intersection. You failed to stop for the red light. So if you stop in the middle,
I don't know. It was just a TikTok I saw.
Yeah, but I don't know the jurisdiction, but here it is absolutely reviewed. Absolutely. What is this? I wanted to send this in a private when talking about the name calling. Oh. So I like coming up with fun Zanoon. Well, you did make me laugh, Paul. But I often try and come up with creative, not so offensive things to call people who break the law. And maybe a fun Zanoon.
Fun Zanoon.
I will Google it.
I like that.
And I hope that doesn't. It's a totally made up thing. But I will look at the Caddyshack reference. Okay. At what time do people with a G1 need to stop driving for the road? Fantastic question, because many people don't know that there is a restriction. Midnight. They cannot drive after midnight. Between midnight and 5 a.m., their G1s are not usable. So back to, you asked about hoon laws. So Hayden says it's the Aussie term for, yeah. And apparently beers are called coldies. I'd not heard
Well, we
that.
refer to them sometimes as a cold one. Like,
Yeah.
I could take a cold one, but not, yeah.
They make everything cooler.
Yeah, coldies. I want to come to Australia one day.
Yeah, you got to go. Let's see here. Can I get a red light ticket? Can I get a red light ticket by a red light camera if I'm in the middle of the intersection and the light goes red? No. The answer is no, you can't, because you must cross into the intersection, crossing that line after it turned red. So if you were in there when it was yellow, if you were in there when it was green, and you remained there because there was nowhere for you to go, you can get other tickets from police officers, but that ticket will not be issued because you didn't cross the line after it turned red.
So I'm laughing at that. You don't have to put it up there. I'm just laughing.
Which one?
That one.
Dollary dues?
Yeah, apparently the Australian Parliament tried to change it.
No, they didn't.
I hope that's true. Even though I don't think it is, that would be hilarious.
I was talking about Australia yesterday because I used to watch the Water Rats television series about the Australian Water Police, which I quite enjoyed. Let's see here. Hayden just lost their license for driving while under the influence. For first offense, I got 1 month suspension, a $300 fine. What is the charges in Canada? You got off easy because the defense of this in Canada will probably cost you $15,000 to $30,000. And there are significant prohibitions, but a 1 month suspension. No, you get a 3 month suspension just for being arrested or charged, never mind going to court and proceeding with it, plus an impound of your vehicle. Yeah. It's much more serious here, apparently, although some provinces deal with it provincially by way of a careless or other measures. They try and decriminalize it. But, it's like the most litigated charge in law here. Or in Canada, I think, in general. You're wrong is the username, not a statement. And Erin, I miss you lately. How come you don't ever post conflicts with illegal parkers? Is it a policy?
Yes. So going forward with my social media, I will not be showing interactions with people. It's just to save for complaints or, shaming a person, even though I in the past I had blocked out, faces and whatnot. But yeah, just going forward, it's just going to be about education to the public. And I can talk about interactions that I've had, but I'm not going to show them just for everyone's sake. It's just probably safer. Yeah.
I can see where it's really beneficial to show but the consensus is maybe not shaming people.
Yeah.
But
not even to shame people. It's just, it's some things are just not meant to be put on the internet.
There you go.
Leave it at that.
This is a joke. I know it's a joke, and thus I'm sharing it as a joke. Mr. Soprano wants to know, is speeding for Black Friday acceptable if there's only one TV left? You didn't laugh.
Oh, sorry. I'm just kind of zoned out there for a second, but I did read that earlier and I laughed.
Okay, so
I had a delayed onset laugh.
If you don't know the emergency vehicle, hang on a second, let me put it on screen. If we don't know if the emergency vehicle will turn right, are we still supposed to pull right? You're talking about an intersection? You should stop. Pull right and stop. Yes, absolutely. Because you don't know what they're going to do. You have to always assume that they're going where you're going. And you're supposed to pull over in both directions, regardless of where they are. Unless, of course, you're in a divided highway. But if you're at an intersection, you don't move. I'm surprised at how many people don't pull over. When I hear sirens, I immediately start to move. Maybe because I'm biased.
Yeah.
I might be a little biased.
I pull, this is a question, because I do it anyways. I pull over on my bicycle.
Yeah, you're a vehicle.
Yeah, exactly. If I'm on the road, of course, right? So if you're on a bike, pull over for your own safety as well.
Oh, we got Michael, who is arguing, sort of just making a point here to the other person whose name I forget already. But Michael says most ROSers, his reference for police, and I guess it's a standard name because I don't think he made it up. Elsewhere they call them ROSers, are not ruining lives. Scoff laws, choose their illegal actions. TPS has a number of great members like Sean and Erin who do not want to lose their loved career. Yes, this whole because the allegation was that cops lie and ruin lives. I don't actually think that that's an occurrence. They may, like I said, I possibly don't admit to having a donut now and again, but that's a why. You know, it's maybe it's just not sharing. Very rarely do I have a donut, and that is the truth. Very rarely.
Yeah.
unless someone bought them. Then I don't want to be rude. It's just
If you insist, you know.
Okay, we talked about that already. Will I get a speeding ticket? Oh, we talked about that already. Thank you so much, Officer Erin. I wrote officers because I know how many people don't know that I am this title. Oh, okay. Did I get that?
I don't.
I'm losing the context here. Is auxiliary going to open in December now? It is open now for next year. Is volunteer work 100% necessary for auxiliary officer applications? I don't know about the auxiliary. Like you're looking to volunteer, as opposed to like if you were applying to the police service as a police officer, then volunteerism is pretty important. If you are applying to be a volunteer, do you have to have volunteer experience elsewhere? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a good experience or a good question for employment.
Yeah.
Sarah asks, I live in Toronto at the end of Toronto where I live, there's tons of speeding and loud music. How do I report it? Thank you for asking the question. TPS.ca. You can go to TPS.ca and you can make reports about neighborhood issues, or you can make reports about individual drivers. You can do either or both. And that gets sent to the division that you live for enforcement. And they get to then, you could then go and our officers can go and do enhanced enforcement. That's what I'm looking for.
Yes.
I read Hayden's offer to become my tour guide, so I was like, wait, where are we going first? Anyway, if you drive as a G1 and you get caught, will your car get towed? Well, you're not driving it, so you'd have to be left where it is, where it could be towed if it's blocking the road, and it could also be, and you'd have to be able to either get a driver to come pick it up, or you'd have to tow it away. Let's see here. Greetings inside. Kayla made it.
For like 2 minutes, and they're like, another meeting, see you Monday.
The question is, has he already seen everything? Because, another meeting, see you.
Yeah.
See you Monday. Well, yes, Monday I'm actually seeing Kayla, but we're not seeing anybody else, and that's because there's no show Monday or Tuesday because I'm going to be with Kayla at a traffic management conference.
Oh, fun.
So the studio will be dark, and I will be elsewhere, although I'll probably make some content there with people about stuff and things. Let's see here. Okay, I'm flagging this, but yes, so good thing to remind back on Wednesday, which I'm quite looking forward to. We're getting close to the holidays.
I know. December, next weekend.
Speaking of holidays, for a few weeks in December, I will not be here. I'm going on holidays. So now your responsibility of doing live streams is all you.
Well, I might be going away for the holidays as well. And most likely, yeah.
Somewhere warm?
No, actually, somewhere cold. I might be going to England for the holidays for Christmas.
Very nice.
Yes.
We will be in the Caribbean in the very warm air, hopefully.
Yeah, well, I'm jealous. Enjoy it. Soak it up.
I will likely be sending pictures and possibly live streaming from my wherever I will be. Hayden wants to know, got a lot of Australian interaction today. E-scooters and e-bike users, do you need to wear helmets? If so, what type of helmet meets the legal requirements? For e-scooters and e-bikes, bicycle or motorcycle helmets are required. If an e-scooter, I think it's up to a certain age for an e-bike, or e-scooter being a stand-up scooter, e-bike, it's always. All e-bike users must use helmets, and it is ridiculous how few of them I see wearing helmets every day. It's $50 or $60 ticket, which I could probably pay off the debt for the city if we were able to collect that money. Because there's a lot of people violating it. Okay.
Yes, there is. Bah humbug towards them.
Humbug. I haven't heard that in a while.
Yeah. 'Tis the season.
Yes. I was on the highway yesterday, and the storage van kept trying to squeeze in, and I wouldn't let him in. Eventually, I realized it was a police vehicle. What are some other models rarely seen? Well, first thing I want to let you know that purposefully blocking someone from changing lanes could be stunt driving. So you're doing well that you didn't get a ticket because actively working to prevent someone from changing lanes or blocking them is an offense under the HTA, and it's a serious one. But we have all sorts of vehicles. For enforcement vehicles, we have we used to have minivans. Now we have SUVs and pickup trucks and chargers, like blacked out cars that are completely nondescript until you hit the lights. We have lots of different vehicles. And then
Sprinter
we have
vans.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes we rent vehicles. Like it depends on what we're doing. Can I plate my golf cart as a slow-moving vehicle or quad? There is a golf cart pilot project coming into play. It may already be in play, but it's not everywhere. It's very specific locations that are permitting it. But it's not the same as a slow-moving quad. There's a slow-speed vehicle pilot in effect in certain jurisdictions. Okay, Michael says, I would spend Christmas in an area with more snow. Toronto post-2010, I need a white Christmas like I used to know. That's a classic Christmas song. Let's see here. Yes, not leaving a gap is one thing. Aggressively active is the threshold. It has to be like really trying to avoid. I've neglected terribly the folks on TikTok, and I do apologize. That's when no moderator and no integration works. This is what happens. But we've had lots of stuff to talk about. I will buzz through. We're 13 minutes after. I'll give it another 10. Are you okay for another 10?
Yep.
If you got to
But
go,
after 10 minutes, I'm going to have to go.
that's what I'm saying. I think 10
washroom.
minutes is it. Oh, you've had
But
the coffee.
I'm holding on.
The coffee goes in, the coffee got to go out. Let's see here. Oh, Josh wants to know. I got two stunt driving charges and a speeding. I got two stunt drivings and a speeding ticket for 166 and an 80. What are the odds I beat it? Well, you've already received. Holy moly! You know what? I couldn't tell you the odds because at the end of the day,
Why are you going that fast?
you doing some bad stuff, and your insurance. I haven't had the convictions yet, but they see the suspensions. They've got to know what you're doing. Regardless of what the outcome is in court, doesn't matter whether you get convicted or not. Please change your ways, just for the safety of all, and of course yourself.
Yeah, that's scary fast. Way too fast.
It is not okay, and I'm not just a grandpa trying to save, money on my gas, but I don't understand why people want to go that fast. The thrill. If you want to go fast, take it to the track. We have a question. Is it okay to forget ID or license at home, Sean? Sahil, the answer is no. If you're driving a motor vehicle, you've got to surrender your license, ownership, and insurance upon demand. You don't do it, you get a ticket. It's a $110 ticket for your license, $110 ticket for your permit, and $65 for your proof of insurance. Let's see here. OSG Danya says, no chance you're getting off those tickets. Let's see here. When will we move towards having to carry a digital driver's license? That's a question from JJ on TikTok, and the answer is they were talking about doing it like 2 years ago. It was supposed to be done after COVID, and it didn't happen, so I don't know. Mohammed says, hi. Hello, Mohammed. Snickle Fritz, best username of the day. What's the ticket for driving without a seatbelt? $240 and points. Everyone over the age of 16 gets their own. If they're under 16, the driver gets them too. Okay. Can a front seat passenger lay all the way back in a moving vehicle to nap? I would say that's improperly wearing your seatbelt. They get a $240 ticket. That's not. You would slide straight underneath your seatbelt in the event of a collision and get really, really, really hurt. Is it illegal to have reflective tape on the rear of your vehicle? No, it's not. Although I would say that reflective tape should be red, not another color, because it would really freak people out to see reflective white or yellow. But yellow's not illegal, and red is not an issue. And I see people doing it all over the place. It's not a bad idea. Actually, I almost ordered from AliExpress.
Yes.
Reflective Christmas ornaments, magnets for the car. Someone talked about it online. I'm like, I saw that. I want that. Can I be live on TikTok if I'm not touching my phone? If you can't see the screen, if you're not touching it and you can't see the screen, technically you'd be able to be transmitting with a mounted phone. You're not touching it, your passenger's holding it, whatever the case is, as long as you are not involved with it. But if the screen is visible to you, which most of the times it is because you're using your front camera, that would be an offense and you'd be eligible for a ticket. Has your bike ever gotten stolen? Mohammed wants to know.
Yes.
Has it really?
Yeah. Yeah, I did actually years ago. Um, and thankfully, someone had seen me and I parked it right under a security camera. This was in Yorkville. And I will, like, full disclosure, I didn't lock it. I didn't have a lock at the time. And I just went in. Thankfully, I took my
Personal
bike
bike or
No,
work?
no, police bike. Police. And it said police on it. And yeah, and then some guy just walked up and walked away with it. And someone who saw that happen came and found me where I was going. Like, I walked in to go get my lunch, and it was a jacked up coffee truck employee who came running in and said, I think someone just stole your bike. And we,
Wait, he was jacked up and they didn't stop the person from stealing the bike?
I don't know, they probably didn't want to get involved like everyone does these days. But we recovered it like 4 days later. It was found.
That's awesome. Was it in good condition?
There were some parts stripped from it. Yeah, like the front, the back fender, and like the holder where I put my bike bag on, like metal parts. So I don't know if they were like scrapping the metal or what. I don't know.
Well, at least you got it back.
At least I got it back, and it's still the bike I ride today.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
Yeah,
We really weren't kidding when you said it's the exact same
Yep.
bike. A message from Anishinaabe. Anishinaabe? How am I pronouncing that? Because I've said it right and I said it wrong.
Anishinaabe,
I'm-
Manitoulin Island officer.
I've read. Okay, I'm terrible. Manitoulin officer, island officer. Thank you, TPS team, and thank you for review. And I'm so bad at that pronunciation. And I've corrected it once, and I had it right. And the more that I think about it, the worse it's going to come out of my mouth. There we go. I think it's Anishinaabe. I think so.
That sounds right. I don't know though.
I'm a horrible person. Let's see here. I see a lot of people do. Can I? Oh, that's the we're way behind. Okay. The whole thing is just a money grab. What about the GPS screen in your car that is built in, or the radio? So this is the question about distracted driving charges. The issue is not seeing the GPS screen. The issue is using the screen for interaction. And the one that's built into your phone, to your car, doesn't qualify for the distracted, but you could be charged for the wonderful offense of careless driving. Okay. Is it illegal to have dogs in your lap while driving? That's Captain Paul who wants to know. And the answer is yes. It's distracted drive. Sorry, it's careless driving or, drive while crowded.
Oh.
That's the two different options of charges. But think about this. You have a dog on your lap. Your airbag deploys at 200 miles per hour. The dog will become a cloud of poof, and you will have its bits mixed with your bits.
Yeah, you don't want that.
It's bad.
Take care of your furry friends.
If you care about them, put them in the backseat, either in a crate or on a tether for their safety and yours. Let's see here. We talked about that. Would the interlock condition be removed on good behavior? So someone who is convicted gets 1 year prohibition that you have to go through after being convicted of impaired operation offenses, and then another year, which you could actually accelerate if you get the interlock, which is an obscenely a large amount of money to have in your vehicle, from what I understand, but would get you the ability to drive a year earlier based on having it where you have to blow an air sample proving that you have no alcohol in your system to start and maintain driving. So is that ever removed for good behavior? I do not think so. I don't know so, but I don't think so. Where do you submit questions? Mohammed, I apologize to everyone who's been waiting for their stuff. I'm racing.
On TikTok. Is this from TikTok?
It's from TikTok, yeah.
Okay.
Can a car get impounded and ticket issued plus points? Yes. I don't know what the context is of that. If you have a 50-acre property, can you drift on your own property? No. You're not actually allowed to drift on your own property. It's stunt driving. It's not legal. If you had a proper track that had medical crew and tow and extraction and fire rescue, all the stuff that the actual tracks have, and you were licensed to have a track there, then it would be exempt because it's a track. You need a permit. Is it illegal to use AirPods while driving, even if it's only 1 year? So in Ontario, you can have both ears plugged. You don't even have to have the ability to hear. You can be deaf and still, or hearing impaired and still drive. Vision's a requirement, hearing is not. So can you have AirPods on? You can. Is it a good idea? I don't think it's a great idea because I like the screeching tire warning system that is available to me.
Yeah.
Even revving of engines. I hear all sorts of things and I react based on that. People who are hearing impaired drive based on the world they live in. They understand, they look, they're far more observant of what's going on than the average driver, I think.
Yeah.
But that's because they live in a different world than you do. And if you're listening to music bopping along, and not only are you listening, like if you're pumping tunes into your ears, you're not just wearing headphones. You are blocking out the rest of the world. So it's legal, but I don't suggest it. Is it technically legal to pass in a solid line? Yes, because you can't. There's no charge for crossing the line. It's a charge for causing a collision once you get to the other side of the line. Is it true you can't be charged for having old insurance slips in your car? There's no offense for having the old ones, but if you provide a new, an expired one, you didn't provide anything because it's no longer valid. So if you give me an old one, I'm giving you a ticket for $65. Let's see here. Is it Baher? Baher? I don't know how to pronounce your name. Good morning. Actually, I never speed up. Even among my friends, I'm known by slow driver. It's a good title, safe driver. If you're going really, really slow, like so slow that you're causing collisions, bad driver, that's different. But if you're going the limit, you're doing a good job. Okay. Red light. If you enter a junction that has a red light camera because of an emergency vehicle that's needing to pass, will you get a ticket? If you do it while traveling at speed, you will. If you came to a stop and then proceeded through, you wouldn't get a ticket, but you're not doing the right thing. You can't proceed through an intersection legally. You will have violated the law. You can, however, turn right if it's legal to do so. But at the end of the day, we really just want you to pull over and stop. Everything else, we're going to absolutely we're going to plan for it. We're going to go into oncoming traffic, or we're going to turn off our lights and wait for the light to change, because for the few seconds, it's not worth getting people to freak out. Hayden says, thank you for the stream, Sean and Erin. Very interesting, learning about laws over your way. I got to go to bed. When's the next stream planned for? We won't be on until at least, I don't know when you're coming back. Maybe it's a Friday thing.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day,
come back next Friday.
Well,
if Sergeant Campbell allows it.
Well, Sergeant Campbell misses his seat. Well, we have no seats today. Just tell him you never sat in his chair. The chair has been untouched. But the deal is that we normally go from Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern time till 11-ish, like we are now. But it's a weekday thing, yeah. And you are what are you 24 hours away? 24 or 26 hours, I think.
Sorry, touch the spam.
What time is it where you are? In any case, we're here all the time. We'd love to have you back. And you can follow us, and you'll get notified when you go live. We do that. You can go to trafficcop.ca. We have all our social media there. Feel free to say hello. And Chase says, this has been such an awesome show.
Oh,
thank you very much, Chase. One day I'm going to get Chase to join the police service. Hi, heroes. That's from Linda. Oh. Does the HGA make mention to requiring a permit or medical crew to be considered a track, or are you just making legal assumption the courts will rule that way? I like your question. The HGA actually makes reference to a track. It is a when you say a track, it's a permitted track, not just there's a patch of grass, I call it a track. It's got to be a real track. What makes it a real track is all the things that racetracks have. And so I'm making the assumption pit crew, not pit crew, but medical crew, fire crew, or the ability to respond to those emergencies. We did the training with Ford, Driving Skills for Life. They had an ambulance standing by for people doing 40 kilometers an hour. Could you imagine what would happen and what you'd need? Like when we do Honda Indy, like I do it. I attend Honda Indy with the Toronto Police. They have a medical suite. They can do surgery on site. Wow. They prepare for the emergencies. They anticipate the worst things could happen. They're a real track. And that's a permitted track because it's not normally a track, it's the road. That is, and they actually include specifically Indy events and racing events. Like they have by name, if it's an Indy event, licensed Indy, real Indy, not my dog's name is Indy and he hosted the show. Mm-hmm. So no, they don't put it. I'm making some legal assumptions, extrapolating from what is a track. Yeah. Linda says, I love this. Oh, I love the show. You guys are amazing, helping so many people. Thank you. Well, thank you for the thank you. Linda's awesome. Let's see here. Get Sergeant Campbell to join next stream. I will be back next time, guys. Thank you very much. Super kind to you guys. Hey, listen, it's been great, and I may have to take you up on the tour guide offer that you made, because that sounds too good. I want to go back to Australia, and I want to go to New Zealand as well. And I know that I should not usually say those things in the same sentence because people get upset. They are not related. No. Okay. We talked about this. Did we talk about this? Yes, we did. Quote of the day.
And after this, I'm going to have to bounce.
Yes. It ain't over till it's over. Yogi Berra. That's your second Yogi Berra quote. Is this a thing? Akela says, stay safe. Remember, don't have a good weekend. Have a great weekend. And I support that. If you're going to drive sober. If you're going to have some party, drink responsibly, drive sober, find a sober driver, not a designated driver. The reason being, the designated driver seems to think they can have few drinks.
Oh,
less
no.
drinks.
Have a sober driver.
Have a sober driver, someone with no drinks, no drugs, no alcohol. So simple. I'm going to record a video right now talking about how many people we arrested last weekend for impaired operation offenses.
Yes.
So I'll post that right after the live. I'm going to save all of the comments from today because I know I lost a whole bunch of these questions or didn't get to a whole bunch of the questions. And you know what? I'm going to use these questions to make videos. That's my plan because the Ask Me question button doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
What is add mine?
Oh, like on TikTok?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is add yours?
Yeah, I don't like that.
No. and I've reached out to my friends at TikTok and I said, what is up with that?
Forever changing.
No, I don't like change.
Yeah, I know.
Leave me alone. I want the same stuff every day. I can have this. Yeah, anyway. It has been an absolute pleasure to spend time with everyone here. I will be back Wednesday, and you will likely be back Friday.
Hopefully, yes.
Hopefully. We'll start negotiations now with Sergeant Campbell. I'm waiting for the table. When the table's here, we can all be here all the time.
Table, it could be, it could
We are
be like
changing. We are developing the show. We're making it better. And you're, of course, coming along for the ride. So
TPS Table Talk.
ooh, we're not rebranding the show, are we?
Well, maybe for like one sitting at the table, but I think that's
Maybe.
going to be like the new table,
Table Talk.
the new show.
Awesome. Here
All
we
right.
go.
Take
Have
care.
a wonderful weekend. See you later. It's a song.
Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Driving safely helps the traffic flow. Watch for pedestrians, look out for bikes, and don't drive like a jerk that no one likes. Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Driving safely is the way to go. Put down your cell phone, nobody needs you to text and drive on the DVP. Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Stop at stop signs, look both ways, then go. Seatbelt, save your life indeed. And watch your driving, don't speed. Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Driving safely is the way to go. Don't drink and drive or smoke some weed, because you might go to jail and not get free. Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Driving safely helps the traffic flow.
And just because I can, I'm putting the intro as the outro. Here is the zombie intro now being used as the outro.